Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Adult Bible Study, where we go over the spicy sections of the Holy Scriptures and try to make sense what the heck's going on. I realize there's a lot of stuff going on all over the internet tonight, so if you're watching this later, welcome. Lovely to see you. If you're watching this now, fabulous. Thank you for joining us. And if you would like to watch future shows in real time, make sure not only to subscribe, but ring the notification bell. Because honestly, folks, I've gotten so far behind schedule on shows. I just postponed so many shows this week. I have to do them when I can to try to catch up. So we're doing the thing when we can. We've got about an hour because our there's a lot going on, like I said, but our friend Dr. Ben is doing his show soon and well, in an hour. I should write a script for my intros. But anyhow, we last left our intrepid heroes fleeing the city of Sodom, Gomorrah, one of those, probably Sodom. Get the hell out of Dodge. Because despite offering your virgin daughters to an angry mob, God has decided to destroy the city. So the angels rush them out. Now, the next verse we need to get to is a little ways on, but I want to pick up the story from here because even though it's not adult per se, it has some interesting implications. So let's switch our modes over here and yes. Okay. So, let's just go with verse 9 since it's at the top of the page here. Get out of our way, they replied. The fellow came here as a foreigner and now he wants to play the judge. We'll treat you worse than them. They kept bringing pressure on Lot and moved forward to break down the door. But the men inside reached out and pulled Lot back into the house and shut the door. Then they struck the men who were at the door of the house, young and old, with blindness so that they could not find the door. The two men said to Lot, do you have anyone else here? Sons-in-law, sons or daughters, or anyone else in the city who belongs to you? Get them out of here, because we are going to destroy this place. The outcry to the Lord against this people is so great. He has sent us to destroy it. So Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-law, who were pledged to marry his daughters. Remember, they virgin daughters moments ago, but now they're sons-in-laws, but also they'll be virgins again later. It's fine. It's fine. There's no contradictions in the Bible. It's fine. So he gathers up his family members. The sons-in-law decided not to come, and that's kind of important a little bit later. So with the coming of dawn, the angels urged Lot, saying, hurry, take your wife and your two daughters who are here, or you will all be swept away when the city is punished. When he hesitated, the men, who are actually angels, even though they're definitely called men, grasped his hands and the hands of his wife and his two daughters and led them safely out of the city. For the Lord was merciful to them, because that's how mercy works. As soon as they had brought them out, one of them said, flee for your lives. Don't look back and don't stop anywhere in the plain. Flee to the mountains or you'll be swept away. But Lot said to them, because he is, of course, related to Abraham, who likes to negotiate with God. So he said, no, my lords, please. Your servant has found favor in your eyes, and you have shown great kindness to me in sparing my life. But I can't flee to the mountains. This disaster will overtake me and I'll die. Look, here is a town near enough to run to, and it is small. Let me flee to it. It is very small, isn't it? Then my life will be spared. And the angels slapped him upside the head and said, bitch, did we not say you have to get off the plane or you will be swept away? No, that would be a thing that would make sense to say. Instead, they said, very well, I will grant this request too. Because now it's God. Sometimes it's a man, sometimes it's an angel, sometimes it's God directly, because it's a very well-written story. So God said, very well, I will grant this request too. It's like it was written by an AI, isn't it? You know, it's very strange. how the character keeps changing. Anyway, I will grant this request too. I will not overthrow this town you speak of, but flee there quickly, because I cannot do anything until you reach it. So is God waiting for Lot to get to safety before he does the judgment thing? Or is he saying he can't guarantee the safety of the town unless Lot happens to be there and protects it with his righteousness aura? And if it's his righteousness aura that protects things, why doesn't he just stay in town? This is a very strange limit on the Almighty's infinite power, but okay. So that is why the town is called Zaor. Because Lot had to flee there quickly, and God had to wait on Lot. That's why it's called Zaor. Yes, that's how that works. Makes perfect sense. Goodness. Hello, everyone. I see people in the chat showing up. Simon, hello. Miranda's here. Hello, Miranda. I was gonna say a thing. I will say it another time. Thank you. And Rubik's, good to see you. And Miranda pointing out, I can't do anything until you do the omnipotent God. Love it. It just says, I'm here for the sodomy. Am I in the right place? You are. We're just about to have some serious sodomy. Welcome to the late stream. Oh, goodness. Okay, so the town is called Zaor for some reason having to do with him having to flee there. I'm sure it makes sense in Hebrew, but that the Y didn't get translated, even though this is literally, that's why it's called that. Anyway, by the time Lot reached Zaor, the sun had risen over the land. Then the Lord rained down burning sulfur on Sodom and sodomized it. Or something. Sodom and Gomorrah. From the Lord, out of the heavens. The Lord rained down sulfur from the Lord. And this is one of the better translations. It's there's a reason it's like that. I'm not going to get into it. I would probably say it wrong anyway, and then Dr. Kip would come through and be like, Ember, you fool. You have screwed up why there's multiple the Lords in the same sequence. It's just, it's a very well written story. So the Lord rained down from the Lord. The Lord rained down the fire from the Lord according to the will of the Lord, because the Lord said so. So the Lord did it, because the Lord obeys the Lord in all things. Thus he overthrew those cities and the entire plain, destroying all those living in the cities and also the vegetation in the land. But Lot's wife looked back and she became a pillar of salt. The next morning, like that's it. That's why did she become a pillar of salt? How do we know she became a pillar of salt? Why was it because she looked back? Like, none of that is covered here. What the hell is happening? It's just a random insert. And we see this all the time. Like, we'll probably see it a little bit later with a little snippy ceremony. But who knows? Who's to say? It's almost like the story was written by a whole bunch of people over several generations, and they didn't like communicate with each other or something. So early the next morning, Abraham got up and returned to the place where he had stood before the Lord, because the omniscient Lord was there, but now he's not. The omnipresent Lord is not present, but it's okay. Abraham stood there and he looked down towards Sodom and Gomorrah, toward all the land of the plain, and he saw dense smoke rising from the land, like smoke from a furnace. As one does. So when God destroyed the cities of the plain, he remembered Abraham, because the all-knowing God had forgotten. But it's okay. He remembered Abraham, and he brought Lot out of the catastrophe that overthrew the cities where Lot had lived. So God saved him and couldn't have done anything about it. It's fine. It's fine. Now we come to the spicy part. Adventure. So Lot and his two daughters left Zaor and went to the mountains for some reason, which isn't explained. Well, it does say he was afraid to stay in Zaor, even though it was saved because he was there. But also, he couldn't go to the mountains before, but now he's in the mountains. It's fine. So he's up in the mountains. He and his two daughters lived in a cave, as one does when one dwells in the mountains. One day, the older daughter said to the younger, "Our father is old, and there is no man around here to give us children, as is the custom all over the earth," which is exactly how normal people talk. "Let's get our father to drink wine and then sleep with him and preserve our family line through our father." This is exactly what it seems like it is. Someone wrote this story. Well, I mean, I assume it was an oral tradition before it was written down, but someone wrote this story thinking this is exactly what a daughter would say. We need to bang our father so that our family can continue, because there's no other way to do this. We couldn't have just like picked up new husbands in the town we were just in. We couldn't go back to the town we were just in to pick up husbands. We couldn't wait till our father passes on and then go pick up husband. No, we have to sleep with our father, which is to say, someone after the fact went, I want to come up with a way to justify sleeping with one's own daughter. And so let's write a Bible story where that's the thing that the righteous people do. Which is wild. Dr. Kip is here. Hello, Dr. Kip. Good to see you. It's all good. I was actually waiting for you to finish before I started, but we were like an hour away from when Ben starts, and I'm like, it's now or never. I have to do it, or I'll have to do it on a different day. So it's all good. Let's see. Yes, mention Dr. Kip and he appears. Or mention the Bible and Kip appears. One of those. Or both. It's true. Okay, so I really got to use bookmarks better. That night, they got their father to drink wine because they had wine in their cave in the mountain. And they got their father to drink wine, and the older daughter went in and slept with him. He was not aware of it when she lay down or when she got up. That's pretty drunk. I'm just saying. You have to be, that we're talking blackout drunk. And now Andrew says, this sounds like Lot ad hoc justifying essay of his daughters. They made me. I was innocent. But also, while that could be a motive behind the story, and probably was, but also this is a description of a sexual assault. They are getting him drunk and then assaulting him on purpose. Holy book, objective morals, something. There's a lot in this book that should not be taught to children, but yikes. So he was completely blacked out. He had to be not aware. And I assure you, as much as my people like to complain, oh, he had to know, he just pretended he was out, because if you're that drunk, the parts won't work. I assure you they do. You can actually do that to men or anyone with a penis, really. And please do not ask me how I know. So the next day, the older daughter said to the younger, last night I slept with my father. Let's get him to drink wine again tonight, and you go in and sleep with him so that we can preserve our family line through our father. Which we did that, though. That Whatever. So they got their father to drink wine that night also, and the younger daughter went in and slept with him again. And again, he was not aware of it when she lay down or when she got up. Convenient that the wife just turned into a pillar of salt so that this story could happen. It's troublesome. So both of Lot's daughters became pregnant by their father. The older daughter had a son, and she named him Moab, and he is the father of the Moabites of today. The younger daughter also had a son, and she named him forgive me, Dr. Kip, Ben-Emi, and he is the father of the Ammonites of today. Because that's where the people come from. This is like sort of my take on this, and I'm probably wrong, but my take on this is saying the origin story of the Moabites and the Ammonites is that they're both the products of incest. But I mean, like I said, I could be wrong. I could be mistaken. Okay, Dr. Kip says, I think you have it backwards, Ember. The story is condemnable. The author is almost certainly writing against incest on the basis of earlier incest laws in the Holiness Code. Okay, because this story isn't necessarily like, because the books were written in a different order than they appear in the Bibles today. So it could be there already were, and probably there was already code saying, hey, this stuff is bad. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. And then they did it. Although it's interesting that these are held up as the righteous people. These are the ones who are holy and you're supposed to follow the example of, so your city doesn't get destroyed. And they're doing things that are kind of objectively bad, like really bad, but they're the holy ones. Not like those pesky sodomites who never sleep with their own fathers after drugging them. Yikes. Big yikes. All right, so that's our adventure with the righteous man impregnating his daughters while drunk. It's amazing. Chapter 20. We don't have to go very far. I do need the next chapter button. Where the hell is the next chapter button? Where is it hiding? Fine, I'll just oh, here's one. I can just use this. Genesis 20. Ta-da! Like sorcery. I love it. Okay, so we actually need verse 2, but we can start with verse 1. It's fine. So we'll just, Abraham and Abimelech. Abimelech. Never mind. Abraham moved on from there, wherever there is, from there into the region of Negev and lived between Kadesh and Shur. Was he sure? We're not sure. But he lived between Kadesh and Shur. For a while, he stayed in Gerar. Gerar. We'll go with that. And there, Abraham said of his wife, Sarah, she is my sister, much as he did, previously. And then Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent for Sarah and took her. So he did the same trick as before. For those of you who missed last week, he walks into a kingdom. He says, this lady is my sister. She's totally not my wife. She is my sister. And then pimps her out to the king and gets paid handsomely for it. And did I mention they're in their 80s-ish? It's such a weird story. So he pimps out his wife. The king takes her. Whatever. But God came to Abimelech in a dream one night and said to him, you are as good as dead because of the woman you have taken. She is a married woman. Now, God couldn't be bothered to have done this previously. God is just sick of Abraham's shit at this point. Stop pimping out your wife. But instead of talking to Abraham, he goes to the freaking victim of this con and says, hey, she married, Holmes. You should not do that. You should no. So credit to God. He at least is doing the right thing here. kind of, as opposed to Abraham, the most righteous man, who's pimping out his wife. Wow. So Abimelech had not gone near her, so he said, Lord, will you destroy an innocent nation? Because apparently he'd heard about Sodom and Gomorrah too, and he was like, this God is on a rampage of smashing cities. Did he not say to me, she is my sister? And didn't she also say, he is my brother? I have done this with a clear conscience and clean hands, because prostitution is just a fine thing. I mean, to be clear, I'm pro-sex worker myself, but the same people who complain about sex workers are the people who hold up this book and say being a sex worker is sinful. Yet all the holy people do it. It's wild. So, I've done this with clear conscience and clean hands. So God said to him in the dream, which is how we know it definitely happened. It was another man's dream being reported by a different person. It's fine. So God said in the dream, yes, I know you did this with a clear conscience, and so I've kept you from sinning against me, because that's what matters most. That is why I did not let you touch her. Now return the man's wife, for he is a prophet who has been lying to you. He is a prophet, and he will pray for you, and you will live. But if you do not return her, you may be sure that you and all who belong to you will die. And of course, everyone is property at the moment. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, goodness. Andrew says the Bible makes it seem like ancient people were running amok with no morals. Like, when did they discover that incest was bad? About the time the Habsburg Jaw happened. I mean, that sort of thing did happen quite a lot in different times in history. John points out Christianity isn't even that old. Most of these laws came down from earlier civilizations pre-Babylon. Technically true. This is Old Testament, so it's Jewish law, which does precede Christianity. Yes. Dr. Kip says Abimelech means my father is the king. So he's the king, but his name means my father is the king. There's like no creativity in the naming. It just, everybody's name means something like protagonist of this chapter, It's amazing. All right. Let's see. Sapphire says we should definitely be teaching these morals in public schools. It's true. Every child must be told all the time. I appreciate that there's new people here. Hello, Revelation. It's lovely to see you. I'm glad of that. Because like I was thinking about doing this as a vertical stream originally so that we could find new people, which would be cool. I didn't do the first episode that way because there was a co-host who wasn't comfortable with that. But he decided to go become a conspiracy theorist. And so now we don't necessarily have to do it this way. And I was concerned about people not being able to find the show. So I'm glad you did. So that's neat. I should warn you, we're very irreverent. But if you're cool with that, I'm happy to have you here. Okay, let's see. Next thing is verse 12. Okay, let's zip ahead a tiny bit. So we'll start with 11 since that's the start of this passage. Abraham replied, I said to myself, there is surely no fear of God in this place, and they will kill me because of my wife. Besides, she really is my sister. More incest. We love it. But we already knew this part from before. The daughter of my father, though not of my mother. So she's a half sister, and that makes it fine. And she became my wife. And when God had me wander from my father's household, I said to her, this is how you can show your love to me, everywhere we go, say of me, he is my brother. Show me how much you love me by telling people we're not together. Amazing. So Abimelech brought sheep and cattle and male and female slaves and gave them to Abraham, as one does. It's super righteous because these are righteous people doing holy things. Of course they have slaves, because having slaves is what the righteous people do. You see, it's a sign of holiness for sure. So he gave all these gifts and then returned Sarah to him, his wife, who's also his sister. And Abimelech said, my land is before you. Live wherever you like. Yeah. So to Sarah, he said, I'm giving your brother 1,000 shekels of silver. So they actually are brother and sister, and the king knows it, but he's still like, this is his wife. So this is, I understand that it was kind of common in certain times and places, but like, okay, we'll just go with it. This is to cover the offense against you before all who are with you. You are completely vindicated. So they had like a whole clan of people who watched him pimp out his wife. That's interesting. Not what I would have expected to happen, but okay. Sapphire says, not having an anti-thesis co-host is kind of an upgrade in my book. Yes. There's a lot of unpleasantness but I don't want to get into it. But yeah, we don't need that kind of nonsense. So yeah. Let's see, what else do we got? I'm not trying to speed run the whole Bible. We're definitely not going to finish it today, but I would like to get like a few passages into this episode, so that I don't even know if we're going to get out of Genesis today. Honestly, there is a lot of Genesis. Okay, let's see. Yep, woman married to her half brother. Okay, next one is the first concubine. It's true, we don't talk about Bruno. No. Okay, we're on to chapter 22. We skip a whole chapter, folks. Amazing. Apparently there's nothing evil. Oh no. Wait. Okay, right. We covered Hagar and Ishmael earlier, and chapter 21 is the birth of Isaac. So Hagar and Ishmael are sent away because now we're having it's fine. It's fine. Okay. Abraham tested. Yeah, let's test that scurvy blackguard. It'll be fun. Miranda says, what, we're not covering the whole Bible in one session? For real. I know Ember is slacking. She needs to get her shit together and like fucking move it. Verse 24. So we're of course we want context, so let's start at 20. Nahor's sons. So sometime later, Abraham was told, Micah is also a mother. She has borne sons to your mother Nahor. Uz, the firstborn, Booz, his brother, Hemel, the father of Aram, Kesed, Hazo, Pildash, Jidlaph, and Bethuel. Bethuel became the father of Rebekah. Milach bore these 8 sons to Abraham's brother Nahor. Everybody got that? Cool. His concubine, whose name was Reumah, also had sons, Teba, Gaham, Tahash, and Makkah, or Makkah, one of those. Possibly. What is the problem here? What is the issue? 24 is the Bible's. Oh, okay. His concubine, whose name was I went right past it. There's a concubine. The righteous family has a concubine. I know it seems like small potatoes, so much so I bruised right past it. But that's the first actual concubine, as opposed to Hagar, who was a slave that got used as a concubine. This is like a dedicated concubine. The holy people and things. Miranda says there were kids named Booze and Bill Bash. See that? I don't even know if Dr. Kip is still listening. But again, I apologize for my pronunciation. Oh boy, oh boy. Shannon Q, hello. Lovely to see you. We're the name gives it away. We're doing adult Bible study. Oh goodness. Oh, so let's see. Our next one is in chapter 24. We're skipping another chapter, folks. Look at that. Chapter 24, verse. Okay. We start right at the beginning at 24. So what is 22? What is 22? No, this is 22. 23 is the death of Sarah. Poor Sarah. Rip. But there's nothing dirty in there, so we could skip over that one. It's fine. Okay, Isaac and Rebecca. And we start right at the beginning. Now, what are we looking for here? In case, so I make sure I don't miss it. Oh, no. Oh, no, this is, okay. Isaac and Rebecca. Abraham was now very old, and the Lord had blessed him in every way. He said to the senior servant in his household, the one in charge of all that he had, put your hand under my thigh. I want you to swear by the Lord, the God in heaven and the God of the earth, that you will not get a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites among whom I am living, but will go to my own country and my own relatives and get a wife for my son Isaac. So there's a couple of things here. First of all, put your hand under my thigh, which is I'll just be blunt about it. It's pretty commonly understood to be a euphemism for grabbing his testicles. To testify, to grab the testicles. It's kind of related. Now, it could be this is a myth, and Dr. Kip is just about to call me out as absolutely ridiculous. Because let's be honest, I am kind of ridiculous. But the second part, it isn't just grabbing his balls. Which is weird, but not necessarily. I mean, it's a cultural thing, right? Like, people in the US today like to shake hands or fist bump. People back then, they grab each other's balls. It's just what you do. It's how you say hello, probably, or something. But this whole thing of, I want you to swear by the Lord, the God in heaven and the God of earth, because these are apparently different people in this verse, but it's fine, that you will not get a wife for my son. Here, you will go back to my family and find a relative to marry my son. Like, we're tripling down on the incest here. We're like so focused on the incest. Wild. So the servant asks, what if the woman is unwilling to come back with me to this land? Shall I then take your son back to the country you came from? And of course he replies, make sure that you do not take my son back there. Abraham said, the Lord, the God of heaven, who brought me out of my father's household. You know how later they need like all the godly power to escape Egypt? Abraham needed the same level of godly power to escape his father's basement. It's amazing. So the Lord, the God of heaven, who brought me out of my father's household, and my native land, who spoke to me and promised me on oath, saying, to your offspring, I will give this land. He will send his angel before you so that you can get a wife for my son from there. Wait a second. If you're supposed to get a wife from Canaan, why are you sending for a relative? Never mind. If the woman is unwilling to come back with you, then you will be released from this oath of mine. Only do not take my son back there. Oh no, don't let my son be trapped in my father's basement. I will free you. You will no longer be a slave as long as just don't bring my son back to my father's basement, but bring him a relative to marry. Oh goodness. So the servant put his hand under the thigh of his master Abraham and swore an oath to him concerning making sure he brought a cousin for Abraham's son to reproduce with. Yes, shall we say. Oh, goodness. So the servant left and took with him 10 of his master's camels loaded with all kinds of goods from his master. All this incest, it pays very well. You get lots of camels and slaves and goods, and it's very fascinating. So he sets off for Aram Naharaim. Again, apologies. And made his way to the town of Nahor, which is where you find, never mind. And he had the camels kneel down near the well outside the town. It was toward evening, the time when women go out to draw their water. Hey, how you doing? Then he prayed, Lord, God of my master, not my God, God of my master Abraham, make me successful today. Like thousands, millions, billions of men before and after, he prayed unto the God of Abraham to make him successful with women. Make me successful today and show kindness to my master Abraham, the righteous dude who served you so well. See, I am standing beside the spring, and the daughters of the townspeople are coming out to draw water. May it be that when I say to a young woman, please let it go down your jar, hey, that I may have a drink. She says, drink, and I'll water your camels too. Not a euphemism. Probably actually means literal camels, but could be taken either way. Let her be the one you have chosen for your servant Isaac. By this I will know that you have shown kindness to my master. Before he had even finished praying, Rebekah came out with her jar on her shoulder. She was the daughter of Bethuel, son of Milcah. She was the wife of Abraham's brother, Nahor, which is why the town is called Nahor, because the Nahor of Nahor lives there. Oopsie. The woman was very beautiful, a virgin. No man had ever slept with her. She went down to the spring, filled her jar, and came up again. And of course, folks, water back in those days was very, very icky. Okay, for anybody who doesn't know, I'm not going to do it because we don't have time, but for anybody who doesn't know, during my morning shows, I run a commercial for water filters, and anytime I get anywhere near a water-based joke, I kind of lean in and do the commercial, and now I've explained it almost as long as the actual commercial, but we don't have time, so I'm not doing it right now. But if you do want to see silly jokes about water filters, and also other things, we're doing Atheist Advent this month on the morning show. It's every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Stop by. We've got cool rocks. We've got nifty sciences. On Monday, we're starting with the Renaissance. Today we did ethics, and earlier we've done biology, and there's a lot of cool stuff. But Renaissance on Monday. Hope you join us. Okay, I will continue on here. Let's see. Where the hell were we? Okay. Right. Chapter 25, starting right at the beginning. We are speed running the Bible. Look at that. See, this is a thing that, I mean, look at how many, we started in chapter 19. Never on his best day did Lawrence come anywhere close to this kind of speed. The death of Abraham. Now that chapters ago, he was dying and we had to go find a wife for his son Isaac. He finally gets around to dying. Okay. Abraham had taken another wife. What a way to start that chapter. Like, dude, you're in the middle of dying and you took another wife just now? Okay. But also, it's cool to have multiple wives because polygyny is fine. It's polyandry that's a no-no. We can't have that. That's unbiblical and things. It's fine. It's fine. One of Byland says, pretty sure the Pope clan has a chair where Pope new hires sat and got their testes fun. Oh no. I don't like that. I don't like that as a visual. I don't like that as a practice. I just don't like that. No. Andrew says this basement sounds like a red flag. People locked in the basement. Oh no. Miranda says, I can only guess at the things that happened in Abraham's father's basement, considering how Abraham turned out. Oh, yeah. Sapphire says, remember that thing I said about making sure we teach this in public school? That's right. Okay, so Abraham had taken another wife whose name was Keturah. She bore him, he's a very busy dying man. She bore him Zimran, Jokshan, Midan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shaua. Shaua. That's a fun name. It's probably Shua, but whatever. Jackson, Jackson, get over here. It's fine. Breaking hockey news. Quinn Hughes just got traded. If you know what that means, feel free to tell me in the side chat. I have no idea. Jokshan was the father of Sheba and Dedan. The descendants of Dedan were the Asherites, the Letushites, and the Leumites. Not to be confused with the Lamanites. That's a different holy book. The sons of Midian were Epha, okay. Epher, you little Epher. It's a biblical name, Grandma. What's the problem? Oh, shit. I almost wish I could still have kids so I could have a son and name him Epher. It's amazing. Hanok, Abida, and Eldah. These were the descendants of Keturah. Abraham left everything he owned to Isaac. Fuck them other bitches. They get nothing. They stole the fizzy lifting drinks. Holy shit. Left everything he owned to Isaac. But while he was still living, he gave gifts to the sons of his concubines and sent them away from his son Isaac to the land of the east. Be gone, offspring. No one needs you here. And that's okay. But while he was still living, he gave gifts to the sons of his concubines and sent them away. Yeah, so that's the whole thing, is like, even though it starts the chapter by saying he had taken another wife, it ends with saying he sons of concubines. So is our wife and concubine interchangeable at this point? I don't know, but what matters is that the Bible says the most righteous man who ever lived, concubines. That's righteousness. I know after all the incest, it's like nothing, but considering we're talking about moral law, objective morality, it's still technically a big deal. Even if by comparison, it's fine. It's fine. Rainbow says, I hope there are teachers out there that go all out and teach what's in the Bible for exactly what it is. And you know what? You make an excellent point, because there are schools, school districts, school systems here in the United States where they're trying to do exactly that. And by making this a Bible study course, technically it's an adult Bible study, but we could with, if I get 3 episodes, we can make this a course and I can keep adding new episodes. And maybe we can get this into the curriculum in Oklahoma and in Florida and the students and the teachers can find out exactly how holy the Holy Scripture is. Wouldn't that be fun? We could displace PragerU. It would be that life goals. We can get in. My goodness. I used to teach online. It was mostly stuff along the lines of tutoring various subjects, but I also did a little bit of like teaching assistant type stuff while I was in college, which was mostly remote by the internet type stuff. I haven't been like a public school teacher before, though. It would be fascinating to become a public school teacher by way of teaching this part of the Bible. Amazing. That would be fun. Miranda says, Aunt Jury, they all died when Lemuria sank under the sea. Oh, because Aunt Jury asked about what about the Lamanites? Oh, goodness. What if Bylade says, if any school kids wrote this, they'd get detention. It's true. It's true. And Sapphire says, Ember U, it's better than PragerU. I mean, at least I'm not peddling propaganda. I'm just saying what the book says. I'm just showing you what's in the text. That's what we're doing here. We get to skip all the way to chapter 29 now. So let's see here. Hey, we're still fairly near the top. Chapter 29. Jacob arrives in Padan Aram and marries people and stuff. And we need to go. Wait, is it? I can't tell if there's a specific verse. Okay, we'll just go with it. So Jacob arrives. Jacob continued on his journey and came to the land of the Eastern people. You know, where I ostensibly his I assume his relatives were sent. Back when Abraham died, the sons of the concubines banished to the east. Well, now we're in the land of the Eastern people because we need to find more relatives to marry. That's what we do. That's how this works. So there he saw a well in the open country with 3 flocks of sheep lying near it because the flocks were watered from that well. The stone over the mouth of the well was large. Oh my. When all the flocks were gathered there, the shepherds would roll the stone away from the well's mouth and water the sheep. I'm sure you can all see how this is a clear allusion to the later resurrection of Jesus, what with rolling stones away and things. That's definitely what's happening here. They would return the stone to its place over the mouth of the well. So you got to keep your water covered when the sheep aren't drinking. That makes sense. Jacob asked the shepherds, my brothers, where are you from? We're from Haran, they replied. He said to them, do you know Laban, Nahor's grandson? I don't know why he's Scottish, but it's fun, so I'm going with it. Yes, we know him, they answered. Then Jacob asked them, is he well? Yes, he is, they said. And here comes his daughter, Rachel, with the sheep. Oh, my. Look, he said, the sun is still high. It's not time for the flocks to be gathered. Water the sheep and take them back to the pasture. We can't, they replied, until all the flocks are gathered and the stone has been rolled away from the mouth of the well. Then we will water the sheep. While he was still talking with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, giggity giggity, for she was a shepherd. Oh, the scandal. The scandal. A woman holding a job, doing work that like men do, as well as the men do it. Holy crap. Do you know what this means? Despite all the nonsense we've seen so far, the Bible recognizes that women can do things. At least, so I'm sure that's not the righteous part, though. That's the sinful part. When Jacob saw Rachel, daughter of his uncle Laban, and Laban's sheep, more importantly, Laban's sheep, hey, he went over and rolled the stone away from the mouth of the well and watered his uncle's sheep. Either he's very strong or it's a very, Very small stone. But why not both? Then Jacob kissed Rachel. Hi, how are you doing? This is how we do introduction. Like, he didn't even say hello first. He just, okay. And then began to weep. He told Rachel that he was a relative of her father and a son of Rebecca. So she ran and told her father. Oh my goodness, what a mess. You just assault this girl you have a crush on that you just met. And then you tell her that you start crying at her, tell her you're related. And then she turns around and she goes and she kisses and tells. This is not good for anyone. So as soon as Laban heard the news about Jacob, his sister's son, he hurried to meet him. He embraced him and kissed him. Jesus Christ, all these people are making out with each other. Now, I suppose, in fairness, I should say that there are various cultures and various times. To look at this through the lens of today's culture is not, strictly speaking, accurate. There are a lot of time periods and cultures, many still today. Think of the French, for example, where they'll bust each other's cheeks. Like, you can use kissing in a friendly way. It doesn't have to be like, I want to get down with you, but it's funnier if we read it this way. But I do want to at least make an appearance of being fair about this. Oh, goodness. Yes, the sister's son hurried to meet him, embraced him and kissed him and brought him to his home. And there Jacob told him all these things. Then Laban said to him, you are my own flesh and blood. You are as if you were my son. That's why we have the same accent, laddie. My goodness, this is terrible. After Jacob had stayed with him for a whole month, he didn't even pay rent, folks. Laban said to him, just because you are a relative of mine, should you work for me for nothing? That would be unfair. That would be unreasonable, even though you've been staying in my house for a month without paying rent. Tell me what your wages should be. How much shall I pay you, lad? Now, Laban had 2 daughters. Ah, relatives. The name of the older was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel, whom we met earlier. Yeah, anyway. Leah had weak eyes, but Rachel had a lovely figure and was beautiful. Jacob was in love with Rachel and said, I'll work for you for 7 years in return for your younger daughter, Rachel. Because we're the same blood. See, it's not, the incest isn't a one-off. It's like not just a family tradition. It's like a requirement. You have to find a relative to hook up with. What the fuck are we doing? Wowzers. Resist Oppression says women in the workplace. Is it the 30s? Miranda says women holding a job is sinful. Jacob marrying his 2 cousins, who are sisters, is righteous. This all makes perfect sense. Absolutely. And Jer says, oh Lord, he's a crier. What if by Lance is better with a Scottish accent? I'll try to remember. And Sapphire says you can't prove anyone in the Bible didn't have a fake Scottish accent. It's true. And Revelation says, poor Leah. I always felt sorry for her because Jacob rejected her. It's true. Like, I mean, if you have to get married to a cousin, like, the poor girl deserves love. You know, it doesn't matter if she needs glasses or whatever the fuck weak-eyed mean, whatever that's about. But like, she deserves love too. Just because you got the hots for Rachel doesn't mean you can't care for What a culture. What a culture. All right, we'll try to finish this up. And reminder, our good friend of the community, Dr. Ben, is doing his Friday night game show. He calls it trivia night, but I think he's planning on playing games that everybody can be involved in. So this show will take you over to that show once we wrap. So you can come play too. It'll be fun. So I will try to finish this up, and then the next time we do this, we'll pick up from where we left off. It'll be fun. Now, I do these shows when I can, so they're very random. Like today's was not scheduled. I had the opportunity, and I'm so far behind because I've had to postpone so many shows this week. So we did the thing. And so please do subscribe and ring the bell for notifications, because a bunch of the other shows I do are not scheduled either. We do have the weekday shows. We do have the weekend debate reviews, but other shows are opportunistic. So I hope you'll join us for all of those. Now, let's finish this, shall we? Let's do the thing. Where the hell were we? Yes, I will work for you for 7 years in return for your younger daughter, Rachel. Laban said, it's better that I give her to you than to some other man. Stay here with me. So Jacob served 7 years to get Rachel, but they seemed like only a few days to him because of his love for her. So apparently they were like already kind of together, I guess, but not. Whatever. Then Jacob said to Laban, give me my wife. My time is complete, and I want to make love to her. Oh, Jesus Christ. Give me my cousin. I want to bang my cousin. No one clip that, because I'm reading from the book. It's fine. It's fine. So Laban brought together all the people of the place, the people in the place, as one does, and gave a feast. But when evening came, he took his daughter Leah and brought her to Jacob, and Jacob made love to her, and Laban gave his servant Zilpah to his daughter as her attendant. When morning came, there was Leah. So Jacob said to Laban, what is this you have done to me? I served you for Rachel, didn't I? Why have you deceived me? Now, how he fell for this, I mean, I guess he was as drunk as Lot or something. But also, this violates everyone. Like, this is bad in so many different ways. And these are the holy people. These are the sacred folks, the chosen of God, all of this stuff. Unreal. Like, what? It's so evil. It's so evil. Anyway. Laban replied, it is not our custom here to give the younger daughter in marriage before the older one. Finish this daughter's bridal week. Then we'll give you the younger one also in return for another 7 years of work. Couldn't have said that beforehand. So this would be where a reasonable person might murder Laban and take both daughters. And since he's a relative, he could inherit himself, like just take over the farm. It's fine. It's fine. One of my land says he did his 7 years. Now, where's that damned cousin? For real. Deviant says, damn it. I looked 40 minutes ago and there was no Ember in my subscription tab. Now nor have I gotten any notification, and I have it set to all. It's true. It's true. It's very rude. The notifications, they don't always do the thing. Deviant says he loved Rachel so much, he fucked her sister without noticing it wasn't her. Yeah. And that's where bait and switch came from. That's right. It's rude. It's rude. Yeah, for sure. I realize a lot of people are watching other shows right now. There's a bunch of stuff happening. So a lot of people who do eventually watch this will be watching it later. That's fine. You could do that. I try to make these rewatchable so you can watch later. Now, of course, being here when we're live, you can participate in the live chat that way, and we'd love to see you. That would be fantastic. But there's nothing wrong with watching back later. Also, please don't feel like missing some is. We're going through the whole Bible, folks. This is going to take a while, so please don't worry about it. They're going to be in order, and you'll be able to pick up wherever the hell you left off, or catch the ones that you missed, whatever the case may be. It'll be fine. And Stop the Stupidity gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, thank you. That's very neat. Those went to, the text is too small. I can't see it. I cannot see it. Let me try on another screen here. Maybe I can make it bigger. Slab City Unicorn, Tyler West, Ian Chen Official, Brandon Ryan Smith. Okay, I got it. Planer Walk. Haha, hooray. And Tilting Windmill. No, Tilting Windmill said live chat makes live streams so much more fun. It's true. It's true. I do appreciate that. But also I appreciate the 5 gift memberships. Thank you, STS. And the new members do enjoy all the fun custom emojis, which are voted on by the members, by the way. When new slots open up, when we get enough members and YouTube gives us another one, the members vote on the new slots. So I hope you enjoy those. All the other perks, like the members exclusive content, the members only live streams, there's a bunch of stuff. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you become permanent members. And eventually, yeah. Miranda asks, Planer Walk, is she here? She has been here in the past. I haven't seen her personally in quite some time, but she has left comments on videos before. So she may drop by and see this one. So, you know, be nice about plainer people, I suppose. It's so funny that her name is Planer Walk and she debunks flat earthers, because it's like, that's a name you'd expect of a it's fine. It's fine. Alrighty, folks, we are at our time, so I'm going to mark where we are and we will pick up next time. Oh my goodness, it gets so much worse. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Thank you all so much for joining. Again, if you're joining late, do feel free to rewind, watch back later, whatever the case may be. It's all good. I appreciate you being here. And shoot, I don't actually have a proper catchphrase type thing for this this iteration of the show, this version of the, it's fine. Thank you all so much for being here, and we'll see most of you over at Ben's, I imagine. Where is, right. I don't have to, the outro plays automatically. Good night, folks. Thanks to all our patrons and top-level members for November. Miranda, Karen Butcher, Jessica the Trans Metal Alchemist, Robin Webster, Maya Adkison, Jimmy Tux, Ian Chen, Lilith, Ember Lynn, The Barely Bearable Atheist, Eric Wander, Jason Jacoby, Godless Engineer, Jester, Lil of All Trades, Deviant Outcast, Kelly King, the Detroit Atheist Queen, The Mighty Filbert, and Secular Phalanist. And you can add your name here next month by signing up at patreon.com/betterthanember, or by joining Emberships here on YouTube at the Cinder level, which also includes all the custom emojis, tons of member-exclusive content, member-only live streams, and a bunch of other stuff. I deeply appreciate all the supporters who keep this channel going. Thank you all so much. Because of you, we're building a wonderful community that I'm very proud of.
Just like a spark that's breaking out.